Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you may be. And welcome back to the channel, and welcome to another edition of HCW Show Squared, the show that tells you the format or formula of HCW podcast and the power of, you guessed it, 2. I'm your host, as always, Dan, DP, or to also nowadays, DpuizY. Yeah. And I'm joined once again by nobody. This is going to be a shorter episode, even though there's more to cover, because it's purely just me talking to the void, talking to you guys, but you guys can't respond to me in real time. So there we go. Of course, Nikki is not feeling 100%, so absolutely fair enough. And Craig is on assignment, so it is what it is. Wishing them both well, and hopefully they're back next week, but we'll see. With that in mind, though, we're going to be covering NXT Vengeance Day and NXT TV that followed it on the following Tuesday. There was plans to get Vengeance Day out sooner, but they fell through. Mainly on my part, because I've been balancing a lot of stuff recently. With that in mind, I think that's all the admin done. Actually, no, it's not the admin done. If you feel so inclined, please give me a follow on my social media on Twitter. Just there underneath my name, DpuizY, capital D, capital Y. And show outlets as well at the bottom of the screen here. You can see Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Blue Sky is supposed to be there. I don't know why it's not there, but it's supposed to be there. Blue Sky and what's it called now? No, mind. TikTok. That's it. TikTok. They're not there. I don't know why, but whatever. I'll fix that in a future one. Anyway, welcome to episode 78 of the podcast. We're getting so close to overtaking what the original podcast did. The original HCW podcast did 82 episodes before it stopped, essentially, because we got burned out of doing weekly reviews. But that was a Raw and SmackDown as well as a Dynamite, and that became quite tedious in the overall aspect of everything going on now. This is NXT. I thoroughly love NXT. I always have. So I'm more happy to talk about it with anyone, really. Episode 78. We're getting so close to where the old podcast ended. But we're going to march on. We're going to soldier on to episode 100. You see. 104 will be 2 years of doing just the NXT review. But anyway, with that in mind, let's actually get into the review, because I've got things to do and places to be. Also, don't need these in. So, Vengeance Day, 15th of February 2025. This is the latest PLE in NXT, in that they have TV specials, and that on Tuesdays, like New Year's Eve, for example, or I think Havoc was as well. And then these shows are typically on Saturday or Sunday, and they're like every 3 to 4 months, something like that. Because after this, before this, it was Deadline and then No Mercy. Going forward, it'll be Stand and Deliver, which is going to be in April. So 2 months then. But yeah, this is Vengeance Day. Let's see what happened. So firstly, we get a match to start things off. It is a match for the NXT Women's North American Championship. We have champion Fallon Henley taking on challenger Stephanie Vaquer. Who would win this match here? Who would come out on top and will walk out with the Women's North American title? It would, of course, be Stephanie Vaquer. She wins a package backbreaker followed by a top rope tornado. And we've got a new champion, just like that. I will say I was on the Fallon side of the argument for this match. I didn't see much point in Stephanie winning it, but we'll get more into that later on. But yeah, Stephanie wins. She is a new Women's North American Champion, and I rate the match 3 stars. I think it was an okay opener. The crowd were pumped for it. Stephanie was very over with the crowd, and Fallon felt influence also were, but in the heel way. However, the match itself was quite one-sided, and even when Fallon had the upper hand for a bit, it just didn't last, and then Stephanie came back into it. It felt very. I don't want to say it made Fallon look weak, but it kind of did. It didn't do much for Fallon. It didn't do much for influence because Stephanie essentially manhandled 3 people by herself. But, saying all this, the prophecy is coming true, or near completion anyway. Stephanie Ricker winning the Women's North American title. Assuming that Junior retains her NXT Women's World title, then we will get some sort of interaction with them two between now and Stand and Deliver. But would she? That is the question. I will find out later. After this, we go into a social media post with Zaria and Sol Ruka. We see a TikTok post, basically, that shows Sol Ruka and Zaria on a sort of bonding session as they enjoy volleyball, skateboarding, and ice creams. Quite wholesome and goofy. And, it's nice to see that they're doing something now with these two. Because only a few weeks ago, I was saying, Craig was saying, Nikki was saying, what are they doing? You've got Zaria and Sol, 2 of the best women's wrestlers on your roster, and they're just coasting by, doing nothing. But no, it seems to finally get used, and that is good. After this, we go into the match. It is time for the second match of the night for the NXT Tag Team Championships. We have challengers Josh Briggs and Yoshiki Inamura taking on the champions Fraxium, Nathan Frazier, and Axiom. Fraxium win following a high-low combination on Inamura, and they are still your tag team champions. I rate the match 4.25 stars. It was a great match. It was just another example of why Axiom should probably be in position for the greatest tag team in today's industry. Briggs and Inamura, we haven't seen too much of either, so going off this one match alone is not going to be enough to get a proper gauge on what Briggs and Inamura can do as a tag team. However, they do have great chemistry in the ring, so I imagine it won't be long before we see them in a tag title team once again. But this was just a fun tag match. I love tag team wrestling, and seeing this match here really helped solidify Fraxium firstly, because, they're Fraxium. But Briggs and Inamura as a team as well, it helps solidify them, and we'll hopefully get more going with them. After this match, they shake hands, a lot of honour, a lot of respect, but suddenly the lights go out, we hear a bit of music, and then suddenly these guys in hoodies and heavy technical gear, they rush the ring, there's 4 of them, and they attack the tag teams. These are the 4 people that have been teased, essentially, on the vignettes. These are the 4 people. So we have I would get his name wrong. Saquon Sugars, Lucky Ali on the Indies. It's revealed that Dion Lennox is part of that group. It's revealed, and there's 2 others I don't know the names of just yet. But yeah, the Mystery Faction are here. They're attacking, and they are going to be a force to be reckoned with, it seems. However, I will say as well, they didn't linger on this. They didn't linger on the effects or any injuries or any of the chaos. It was like they were there, they attacked, and then they weren't there. And then they moved on in the show like nothing happened. The commentators didn't even reference it. So yeah, weird way to set up your new faction, but we'll see where it's going with that. Right, after this, we get a vignette with Stax channeling Lorenzo. He is looking for redemption and intends to cut the head off the snake of Sean Spears and co. when he battles Sean Spears on Tuesday. That's it. After this, we get the 3rd match of the night, and at the time, my dedicated snack break. It was Eddie Thorpe and Trick Williams in a strap match. And as you all know, and as we all thought, this was a 100% going to be a Trick win, and that is why Eddie Thorpe wins. I'm not even kidding. Eddie Thorpe won semi-clean. It's everything because he did a low blow with the strap, but that's legal technically, so it is clean. But yeah, he wins following a low blow and a running front kick on Trick, and then that knocks him out for the 3. I rate him at 2 stars though. Eddie Thorpe is 2-0 at strap matches. The last one he had was back in 2023 against Dijak, which he won as well. So he is kind of 100% on these matches, and he's kind of made it his match now. But saying that, the match was kind of boring. It didn't get in the first gear, and as a result, the result, while surprising, a shock even, was lackluster. So, yeah. Also, this was technically my first watch of the match, because the first time I watched it, I was on my stat break, basically. For those who weren't aware, myself, Mr. Impact, Craig, and Frozzy did a live stream watch along of Vengeance Day as it happened there and then, and I said more or less the same thing, that didn't care for the match particularly, and I was glad I got snacks, because that was the only way I was going to get through it. And then I saved snacks during my second watch of the show of the match. But yeah, boring match, didn't need to be there, was an epitome of a TV show match. But yeah, move on. We get a Twitter post now with the man himself, the absolute truth. It's Ricky Starks. He talks about how people want to know the truth and how they'll get their wish on one Tuesday when he signs the NXT contract and makes his NXT roster inclusion official. That's it. After this, we're going to the fourth match of the night. It's a grudge match, although not officially called that. It's a singles match officially. It's Ethan Page against Javon Evans. Javon has signed a waiver, so any injuries and further damage to his body is not at the fault of WWE. So naturally, who wins here? Ethan Page. Ethan wins following a well-placed punch to Javon's jaw as Javon's doing a springboard attack back at him. And he hits the Twisted Grin, which is a twist of fate for the 3. I rate the match 3.5 stars. I quite enjoyed it. The storyline was working, and as a result, we got a pretty damn good match here. I feel that the right person has won here as well. There just needed to be further continuation of this feud, and that couldn't have happened if Javon had won. I'm enjoying this darker as well, more serious side to Ethan as well. Like, it's more sadistic version of him that it's good to see in the ring. But yeah, I'm sure we'll see more of him and Javon to come. After this, we get an interview with Stephanie Vakir, the new Women's North American Champion. She says that she's made history, but her night is not done yet, and she's going to stick around to watch the main event. After this, we get into the fifth and penultimate match of the night. It's for the NXT Men's World Championship. Notice how I say Men's World Championship, because if you're going to separate the women, separate the men. NXT Men's World Championship on the line. Austin Theory and Grayson Waller challengers against champion Oba Femi. This was a dual threat match. Oba was pretty much in a handicap match anyway for this match. But Oba still wins following a fall from grace powerbomb on Grayson, and he is still world champion. I rated match 3 3/4 stars. This was a really fun dual threat. Sure, it had the typical tropes of, a tag team being a dual threat, and one goes for the pin, one is then angry because the other one went for a pin, and then they sort of get a bit more aggressive towards each other, and there's more tension building. But you added the added sweetener in the match of Oba, the unrelenting force, the ruler of NXT, the current world champion. And he not only had to deal with their collaboration, but he also thrived when the tag team broke apart. So, in my mind, the result was never in doubt, even though there was a couple of moments there where I was sort of like, oh shit, maybe they could win it. But didn't happen. Great work all round, good match. Not the most surprised, to be honest with you. But that is not all, because post match we get another lights out, another mystery attack. The mystery forces are here again, and they attack Femi, which is a very weird choice. Like, I get sending a message, but Femi, like, there's other candidates you could do that with. Anyway. After this, we get an interview next with Ava. Ava's asked about what we just saw with Oba and tag teams. Ava's not overly concerned about the 4 mystery attackers that have laid out not only the tag team, but now also Oba. Like, come on, your roster, Ava. I bet if they laid out Trick Williams, Ava would be angry about that. Anyways, in comes Ariana Grace. We've not seen her in a while. She's been over in TNA, being the NXT liaison. She thanks Ava for the opportunity to her the liaison, and wants Ava to meet someone. In comes Santina Marella, her father in real life, who is also the director of authority in TNA. He rants for a little bit about how he knew Ava when she was a child, and how she's now all grown up, and how he's now TNA director of authority. While Ariana goes through the whole range of facial expressions and emotions. Like, everything says, slightly changes in her face. It's amazing. We'll rewatch that interview just to see Ariana react to what Santino is saying. Ava is quite nonchalant about all this, and basically just wants to talk business. So she has ideas, and she says that Santino has ideas, so let's talk those ideas. But yeah, seems like we're going to be getting some more TNA on NXT TV, or vice versa. And after that, we go into the main event of Vengeance Day, which was the sixth match of the night. And for the NXT Women's World Championship in a fatal four-way match, we had Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade, Bayley, and the champion, Julia. And if that sounds stacked, it's because it fucking is. So yeah, Julia wins. We're following the Arrivederci, which is a Category A knee strike, sort of. And Northern Lights bomb on Roxanne. And is still champion. I rate it 4 stars. It serves as another example as to why the NXT Women's Division is the best Women's Division in wrestling. It was chaotic in a good way, and it didn't really fall victim to the same issues that dual threats and four-ways typically do. I've got to say, I was originally as well against Cora Jade being in the match. However, her being in here, she can develop her skill more and develop like the get rid of the ring rust that's there apparently. But also being there with people like Julia and people like Vikir and also Roxanne Perez. You can learn so much off that. I also feel like Cora Jade felt more natural in this match too. She didn't feel forced in. I was against it, but I wasn't overly against the logic of adding her into it. And her currently sort of strained relationship with Roxanne Perez also adds to that feeling. Roxanne, of course, is always the best part of any match she's involved in. But it's not as clear cut as it normally would be. Bayley and Julia equally added to the match like Roxanne did. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and while it's not my match of the night, it's a strong contender for it. Because the match of the night was the tag team match earlier. Post-match, though, as Julia celebrates and retains her title, as she has retained her title, Stephanie Vikir appears with her recently won title too. They share the ring and hold the titles up high. Vikir is giving eyes though towards Julia's title, so just something to be aware of. And then as they celebrate, that's not all, because we hear sirens. It's Scott. No, it's not. It's Jordan Grace. Jordan's wearing a "We Are NXT" t-shirt, and it seems to be clear that she's here to stay in NXT. She's officially signed to NXT, I believe, and yeah, she'll be at NXT for a bit. And that was it for Vengeance Day. It was a fairly simple enough show. And that's the thing with PLEs. They're very simple, very easy to digest, and nothing too convoluted, except why NXT doesn't seem to care about the new faction that they've brought in. But that's neither here nor there. So, we'll move on. And with that in mind, we move on now to NXT TV for the 18th of February 2025. And I can already tell right now, if he's watching that is, that Mr. Impact Craig is absolutely he's punching his hand or he's punching his desk or something because of what happened in this show that I'm sure he would love to talk about. Because I am not the best qualified to do so. However, he's not available. So it is down to just me to explain what happened and hopefully shed some light on the significance of this. But we'll see how it goes. So we kick things off on TV with a pissed off Ofemi as he walks by a GCSE level drama performance of someone worried. Like, the guy's going like, play his music, play his music, play his music. Please, play his music. But yeah, it plays, out comes Ofemi. Do, do, ooh, do, do. Ooh, anyway, it's time for the clear promo. Femi wants the 4 mystery men to come out and attempt to finish the job they started at Vengeance Day. Someone does answer. However, it is not the 4 mystery men. It is Moose. Moose. The TNA X Division champion. Moose. Moose says that he is the one man that Oba cannot rule over. Oba says that he is inevitable. Moose says that this match has to happen. Oba says it will. It's a very basic promo, but enough has been established. We're going to be getting Oba and Moose at some point in the future. Also, this is big. Like, obviously, they've had TNA guys like Jordan Grace, for example. We've had Zachary Wentz before as well. Like, both TNA people. Like, we've had people make the jump over, but no one... JDC. But, like, no one feels as Rosemary. So I'll keep naming people who appeared in NXT recently. The Rock. No, people, like, Zachary Wentz is big. Jordan Grace is big. For some reason, Moose feels like a very big deal. Maybe because he's currently the X Division champion. I don't know. But from the men's side of things, we don't really tend to get a big singles guy or a guy with a lot of history. You know, like someone like Moose has been around for a while, and someone like Moose has, especially in TNA, he's done a lot in TNA. Like, he's had a lot of different personas, a lot of different characters, a lot of different gimmicks during his time in TNA. So he's like one of the few names that I would recognize from a TNA roster. Like, I know a lot of wrestlers, don't be wrong, but Moose is like one of the ones where I can be like, you know, Moose. Like, it's like I remember about Moose from when I used to watch TNA. But yeah, this promo here it's big. It's a match that I think everyone wants to see. I'm not bothered by it particularly, but I can understand the appeal behind it. But yeah, after that, we go to Ava's office. She's here with Eddie Thorpe. Eddie says he is donezo, kaput. The coffee part of that. He is done with Chip Williams, and so he wants to look. He now wants to look forward to getting title chances. Ava has no interest though in giving the title shot at this current moment in time because Eddie's lost his title shots that he had, which is fair enough. And before anything else can continue, they're interrupted by Kel Dixon and Uriah Connors. They are the guys who've been helping Andre Chase lately. They're hosting a party. So naturally they invite their boss, Ava, who has no interest in attending the party. Eddie then pipes up to mock them. And then Kel and Uriah remind us all that Eddie is a DJ, because we all needed that absolute reminder that he is or was a DJ. Eddie basically refuses it. He apparently he is still a DJ, but he does it in his free time when he wants to do it, not do it for some, you know, after school class party thing. Speaking of which, he tells them that they should be back in class. And then both of them get sad and they lament over the fact that Andre Chase keeps turning them down. Eddie then says that Chase will ruin their lives like he did Chase you. Then Kale literally comes up and he's like, you know what? You know what? Andre Chase is a great man, and he's going to prove it to you tonight. That's right, I'm challenging you on behalf of Andre Chase. And so yeah, Kale challenges Eddie on behalf of Andre Chase, and Ava is confused by this, but she makes that anyway because she's a horrible GM. The character's fine. It's just, as a GM, you know, do something. Like, don't just follow every whim of the wrestlers, you know. After this, we go into the first match of the night. It is the NXT Women's North American Championship #1 Contender Triple Threat match. Whew. Jada Parker, Carla Petrovic, Kalani Jordan. And of course, as if there was any doubt in the world, the winner of the match and the new #1 contender for the NXT Women's North American Championship is Carmen Petrovic, who wins after a surprise pin, a bridging flash pin, on Kalani, while Jada's doing her little pump up knee thing. I rated the match 3.5 stars. Aside from the obvious surprise or shock factor of the result, it was a breath of fresh air. It would have been pretty obvious to have Kalani or Jada win this, and Carmen being the first defense for Vakir feels interesting to do that first step in that direction. However, it's nice to go against the norm for these things. So while we set up an eventual Kalani and Jada match, we're also going to be having a Vakir and Carmen match, which presumably the winner of Kalani and Jada as well will go on to fight Stephanie, because Carmen's not winning the title, come on. But yeah, as Carmen is celebrating with Ashante, in come Fatal Influence, and they attack Carmen, and Ashante proceeds to do nothing. He's in the ring. He's watching these 3 women beat down his girlfriend? Partner? I don't know what it is for it. Kayfabe. He literally just stands there and watches Carmen get beaten up by Fatal Influence. And when he does get involved, which is way too late at this point, he's hit by a steel chair. And then it's really awkward viewing, because you think Ashanti's gonna get involved or someone else is gonna get involved, and then there's nothing, and there's an ad break. So it doesn't make much sense, because throughout the ad break as well, you see her getting dragged around the ring and stuff, beaten up, announce table steps, it's everything you could think of within the realms of not using a weapon. Then Fallon cuts a promo that you can't hear because ad break. And then when the ads stop, we finally see that Stephanie Vakir and Junior have come out to help. But you would have missed the music because of the ad break. But they're only 2, and they need a 3rd. And Carmen's out, so it's still 3-on-2. But here comes Jordan Grace. Jordan, Junior, and Vakir clear house, and Jordan declares that she wants to fight, so let's fight. Fatal Influence seem down for it as well, so maybe we'll see more from this later in the show. Backstage now with the D'Angelo family, Stacks wants to step up, and he wants to handle the Sean Spears business without the help of Tony D. And so he's ready. Rizzo and Luca follow him out, but they follow him out for match 8 Nez. Match 2, tag team match. We have Meta 4, Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson taking on Sol Ruka and Zarya. Hey, Bully Ray. Zarya. Anyway, Sol and Zarya win following a Soul Snatcher from Sol to Jakara. 3.5 stars I rated this. Another fun match here in a different way. It was fast paced, high intensity, with plenty of back and forth when it wasn't one sided. And honestly, it could have gone either way. It's nice to see Sol and Zarya getting like this too, and actually getting wins, because I had my doubts at first, but now it may finally have some sort of direction, which is what I mentioned in the Vengeance Day part as well. But it seems like they've got a definite direction to go now, and with wins picking up, it's good for them. I look forward to seeing what's next for them. And speaking of what's next for them, Meta 4 girls, they're probably on their way out too to the main roster. So I think they're doing a we're leaving soon, so we're gonna put over others route. But yeah, so if they go to the main roster, they'll be missed, but understandable. Fun match though. After this, we get an interview with Wesley and Igwe and Tyson Dupont. Wes talks about the unpredictability of NXT and how everything and anything can happen to anyone at any time. And it all feels kind of pointless until the interview is cut short. Literally, the interviewer was like, oh, sorry, and then goes to someone else. The interviewer cuts it off to go talk to Ricky Starks. Or him. Or Voldemort, because you can't say his name. Or Joe Hendry. We're going to get some answers in relation to Voldemort in a few minutes, apparently, because he says that. Anyway, after this, we're going to a contract signing with Ricky Voldemort Starks. Ricky talks about a lot about how about reality, and how he is the man in NXT. He says that the time is here, the time is now. You can't see me, the time is now, and the revolution is now. But will it be televised? Before he can sign the contract, though, here comes Ethan Page. He says Ricky is following the Ethan Page playbook and doing it amazingly. But there's only one Ethan Page. Starks then accuses Ethan of being insecure. Ethan says that he'll set the bar, so that he has set the bar for people coming into NXT, which is true, he has. Starks also doesn't want to focus on all that, as he wants to celebrate his contract signing, and he also wants to celebrate Ethan's win against Javon Evans. But speaking of Javon Evans, he tells Ethan that Javon will be coming still, coming around any day now to whoop that ass. Cue Javon to pop up and attack Ethan. Ricky gets back to signing. However, he's then interrupted by someone else. It's Wesley. Wes talks about the rules and how one of those rules are you don't disrespect Wesley. I don't think that's written down anywhere. And he says that Ricky can sign the contract, but if he does, Wes wants first crack at Ricky. And Ricky has no problem with this. And he leaves Wes with a warning that Wes will be welcomed to the revolution. He clears Wes out the ring and signs the contract. Hitting this signature pose, that thing. And his name revealed on the contract. His name? Voldemort. No. Ricky Saints. Which I believe is a callback to his hometown, because he's from New Orleans. And I think they called it the City of Saints or something like that. It's something like that, I don't know. The Saints Day, I don't know. Anyway, after this, we get an interview with Fraxium. They don't know what the attack at Vengeance Day was about, but Fraser's pumped for them. But actually is more reserved about it, which is just more showcase their different personalities, but they're still a very good tag team. In comes the NQCC though to congratulate Fraxium on the retention, and Fraxium are like, "Oh, come on, what's going on, guys? You want a shot, right?" No. NQCC are just like, "No, we don't actually. We're here to get the camera and get some roll time," and they want to face the greatest team, perhaps of all time. They call out the Hardy Boys, the Hardys, for next week. I was like, "Wow." Okay. But that's it for now. But after this, we go backstage. Some tag teams have been attacked backstage, and Ricky Starks, Saints, comments on it, saying it's basically crazy. It do be like that. Welcome, Ricky. You'll get used to it. Match 3 of the night is a singles match. Finally, Channing Lorenzo Stacks versus Sean Spears. Sean wins with a C4. I rated it 1 3/4 stars. It was an extended squash match. Just a match to further get Sean Spears to Tony D. And that's about it. They're also seemingly trying to get Stacks to be more of a solo guy, but if they do that, who will team with Luca? Tony? Backstage again. Andre Chase. Not Andre Chase, I'm on the wrong bit. Moose. There we go. Moose is walking around backstage and is confronted by Lexis King. Lexis does not trust him. He doesn't trust anyone in the system either. Probably a wise call there. But he also comments on how TNA stars coming to NXT, parade the titles around, and never actually defend them. Moose cuts him off and gives Lexis a shot at the X Division Championship, which Lexis is appreciative of. Still backstage, Andre Chase wants to know why KO and Araya sounds like a horrible health mix to me. I'll set that matches for him. They explain that Eddie was bad man for Chase U, and we get a slight peek of the old Andre Chase. KO and Araya offer to be in his corner though, but Andre says he needs to handle this alone. And his music plays, and out he goes. It must be time for his match. It's a match for a singles match, Andre Chase and Eddie Thorpe. Eddie wins with the Impaler DDT. I rated 2.5 stars. This was mainly a story beat match. It didn't do much for Eddie besides giving him another win, which is good for him, I guess. But the main point of discussion here is Andre Chase and the demons in his head. He hasn't forgotten about Chase U. We saw moments of remembrance in his match, and when it seemed like we were going to get the old Andre back, he regressed back into his depressed self. But I think Night School could well be a possibility. So, penciled in Nikki. You guys called it. Night School is coming. Post-match, Trick Williams appears on the Titantron to say that he is not done with Eddie. And if Trick is going down, so is Eddie. His music plays, and that's about it. But what does Trick mean? Let us know. Answer the postcard. Backstage now. Ricky Zane's with Ava. Probably on some sort of employee induction tour of the facility. Literally, they're just walking around backstage now. When he's approached once again by Ethan Page. Ethan is complaining about Javon Evans, but before anything else can happen, here comes Wesley again. Then in comes Javon Evans. Ava settles all this though with a tag match for next week. Ethan and Wes versus Ricky and Javon. We see a Twitter post next from the Hardy Boys, Matt and Jeff Hardy. They did not expect their names to be called out, but they heard it and they accept the NQCC's challenge. Cool. And after this, we go into the main event, the fifth match and the main event of tonight. A 6-person tag match. We have Fatal Influence, Fallon Henley, Jasmine Nix, and Jason Jane taking on Junior, Stephanie Fakir, and Jordan Grace. And of course, Team Jordan win with a Juggernaut driver on Jasmine Nix. I rated 3.5 stars. I really enjoyed the match too. Jordan being in NXT now is nice to see because it feels like she's someone who has deserved to be in WWE for a few years now. But the match was obviously a Jordan Grace showcase. That rhymes. And rightfully so. Put your newest, latest signing on display for the world to see. Zarya is crying somewhere. Sorry. But yeah, thoroughly enjoyed the 6-person tag match. And that's been a running theme for the matches that weren't just thrown together. Like, you know, the women's tag earlier, the dual threat match earlier as well. Like, good matches. So, yeah, like, the 6-person tag is a very good match. And we will be getting some sort of ongoing thing with the three of them, I imagine. Fatal Influence, though, I'm not sure what they're going to be doing. We'll see. But yeah. Parking lot now. This is the final bit of the show. The parking lot. The very final thing that we see is the mystery new group, the foursome, leaving the NXT arena through the parking lot, and there's also a commotion because the camera rushes forward to the room they left because they've attacked and laid out Robert Stone, as well as destroyed Ava's office and even vandalized it with the words "No one is safe," spray painted in red, like it was the Walking Dead. You know, like "Don't open dead inside" sign. But yeah, that's how NXT ends. Another fun episode of NXT TV. We're getting some building. We've got a match with Nexus King and Moose for the NXT Heritage Cup for the TNA X Division Championship. We've got the Hardy Boys here to take on the NQCC. Like, some fun stuff coming. Like, a lot of TNA and NXT partnership. Like, also, as well, to follow it up on TNA, that happened this week as well, we saw, we saw Wesley, Tassin DuPont, Tyreek Igwe, and Tassin DuPont. We also saw Overhemi randomly on TNA. So yeah, it's fun to see this, to see the partnership working out now, and to see it go forward. But we will see where it all goes. And that is it. That is it for episode 78 of the podcast. That is it from me. I've been Dan, DpuizY. All the social media is there beneath. My name is there as well. Follow me on Twitter. My name is just here as well. But other than that, I've been Dan, DpuizY. There we go. There we go. DpuizY. And that's it for now.